anyone who's read Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, you'll understand the importance of timing when it comes to education. In grade 2, I was pulled out of class and tested, and I came back to class kind of on a high. I thought I was special. Little did I know that I was being tested for, like, a different kind of special. Within a couple of days, it was illuminated for me that they thought I had ADHD or some other such liberation. And I went from thinking very good to semi-deflated. And, in many ways, that's carried on for years. Now I find myself in the position of educator, and about a decade ago, one of my teachers pulled me aside and was, they really, I think they were being generous. They did it with a heavy hand, but ultimately they were like, how would you reach the 35 people in your class? Like, how do you reach 35 different individuals? And what's the equalizer? What's the thread? What can weave the whole thing together? And I recently started teaching a course about anatomy. I've been thinking about this for quite some time, and I have often found that when I'm being educated, a couple of things are happening. One, we're always in desks, like there's no moving around, and for me, who's a kinesthetic learner, which means I love to put the knowledge in my body, it's challenging. Two is that all of the information is kind of titrated in. What that means, it's a term usually relating to chemical, a chemical being diluted, let's say through osmosis or diffusion into a body of water is a great example. Chlorine in a pool. But we often, when we're being educated, particularly with regards to anatomy and physiology and stuff like that, is that they teach you all of this really basic entry-level stuff, and gradually the class gets separated as the knowledge gets more challenging. Some people stay with it, some people get left behind. And I had this idea where I thought, okay, I'm going to start at like the professorial level in some ways and just like set the bar really high, put everyone in a state of stress, but also just kind of neutralize the playing field and work backwards so that, my goal is that if the students take 20% of what I'm offering, then that's a win. And really what I'm doing that is every week I'm teaching the class, I'm repeating that same 20%. I want them to focus on this principle or concept that underlies and underpins the body's relationship against gravity, whether that's from an organ standpoint, a muscle, bone, tissue, organism, all the way down to a cell. It's fun, but I got some feedback after the first week where I was just like, oh dear Lord, like I've erred poorly. And it's good to be humbled. Honestly, I had a hard time studying, and I think a lot of people do. There's no one way to organize something. There's no formulaic system that works, even though we might convince ourselves that there is. And I am excited about what's happening for these people, what they're learning, and really, if I can give them a seed to water with regards to how their body works, the idea behind the principles or concepts is that you can take it and apply it across the board. And particularly with yoga and yoga teachers, it's a great accessible method. And to just be on your heels initially and realize that learning is awkward. I wish I could go back to my grade 2 self and just kind of sit down in Mr. Ashton's class and realize that this is just but part of the process, and it is thoroughly enjoyable if I can realize that it's not work so much as play. And, this is kind of why I want to share knowledge about the body with people, is that I really think everybody's got one. The operation manuals are different, and how wonderful to know just a little bit more to enhance your health, your well-being, your sense of holism, and also the relationship that we as humans have with the environment around us. The more I learn about the body, the more I recognize that in environments, it's the same sort of thing. And so I am grateful for the learning process, because honestly, I don't know if there's a better way to learn than to teach. It's certainly put me in a position of compassion for the people who've had the responsibility for educating me. I'm grateful to them more. So many who took the time to pull me aside and take a little bit of extra effort. It went a long way, and I'm grateful. I consistently discover, the more I invest in life, the more I discover that there's nothing but awe to be found in this living thing. So I hope that today that is true for you too, and this finds you kind and well and heavily watered. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Peace.